Grace looks at the difficulties in a relationship not as hassles to be endured, but as opportunities to love. So the law points fingers. Grace, on the other hand, gives hugs, undeserved hugs, which is why relationships marked by law create distance, but relationships marked by grace generate closeness and intimacy. Now, none of this is worked out perfectly or consistently. All of our relationships are going to be marked by moments of law, and in those moments, there'll be distance, tension. And all of our relationships are also marked by moments of grace. And you know the difference. You've experienced the difference in any given moment between what law does in a moment between two people and what grace does in a moment between two people. You know the difference. You've felt the difference. You know that when things with somebody else are feeling light and enjoyable, grace is present. You feel like you can share the deepest parts of your soul with somebody and they won't blink. Those moments are sweet, and thankfully we get to experience those throughout our life. But we also know what it feels like to experience moments where the law is present, where we're feeling like we are constantly failing. We feel like our blemishes are being exposed. The things about us that we don't like are constantly being pointed out. In those moments, the relationship feels tense. It feels heavy. You want to get away from that person. You don't want to draw near to that person. You want to get away. You want to go in the other room. You want to get in your car and drive away. You may want to get in your car and drive off a cliff. So you know, functionally, you know the difference. And what Paul is saying in these verses is faith, which is belief that everything I need in Christ I already have, frees me to love. Now I'm free to love. And when you're free to love, grace flourishes. And in those moments where grace does flourish, we feel the freedom that Paul talks about here. The freedom to be ourselves, the freedom to tell the truth about ourselves, the freedom to fail and the freedom to succeed, the freedom to do something good and the freedom to fall on our face. We feel that freedom. So when Jesus says that his yoke is easy and his burden is light, when he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary, burdened, and I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." What does he mean? He means that when we come to him, he gives us everything we need. Everything. We no longer have to carry anything because he carries everything for us. He lightens the load. He means that we don't have to depend on ourselves or others to satisfy the deepest longings of our heart anymore. So this brings huge relief and freedom to our lives because now we can enjoy our relationships without needing those relationships to save us. Now we can abandon our relational self-salvation projects, which induce so much stress and pressure and tension and unhappiness in our lives. So when Paul is describing freedom in chapter 5, this is what he's describing. How free do you feel in moments where you know you are unconditionally accepted and loved by another person? How free do you feel? That moment may be fleeting, but in that moment, the freedom that you feel is tangible. It's real. It's like a taste of what will one day be a permanent reality. A taste. So in Jesus, the life-giving God speaks into our deepest relational insecurities and says, "I got this. Others may let you go, but I will never let you go. Others may leave you, but I will never leave you. Others may forsake you, but I will never forsake you. Others may reject you, but I will never reject you. And I love you." and I take care of those I love with every resource I own. So you don't need to worry about looking behind every tree or under every rock for that thing or those things that you feel you need. I've already given it to you. Now go out and enjoy the freedom of loving with no strings attached.